This is the Bears Barroom Radio Network. Parental discretion is advised.
There are so many streaming TV series.
So many channels.
I have a stream.
I just don't know which one to watch.
Is this show worth our time?
I have a stream.
I'm 3 seasons behind already. Is it even worth catching up?
I have a stream.
What's the series about? Will my wife like it too?
I have a stream.
What channel is it on? And who's in it?
I have a stream.
I want to watch something new, something original.
I have a stream.
I want to watch something that's action-packed.
I have a stream.
What's happening, barflies? This is I Have a Stream podcast on Bears Barroom Radio Network. I'm John Santucci. Call me Tooch. We are back live, rolling on Mixler with Joey Two Scoops. Joe Mandel, how are you?
Good. What's going on, Tooch? It's good to be back. We took a break last week. I was a little under the weather. Still getting back to normal, but we're back, baby, and we have a lot to talk about.
We do, man. We have some great shows to talk about, some great guests. And your buddy here is Thirsty Joe.
Yes, so let's go ahead and introduce our bartender in the only way we know how, with a little bit of metal. Oh, there he is, barflies. If you know that song, you know who's here. We got Aaron Michalski in the house. Aaron, how you doing, brother?
I am doing great. Good to be back with you guys. It's like I said, we took a break last week, but it's good to be here. I've been excited ever since.
Oh, Aaron, can I have my regular, usual, you know what I need?
Yep, I'm going to get you some here right now, my friend.
Yep, bourbon, 2 fingers, 2 rocks.
Let's go. Make sure the ice trays are filled.
Yeah, you want to give the listeners a background on that one, Tooch?
Well, might as well now. Go ahead, Joey.
One of Tooch's son or Tooch's friend forgot to put water back in the ice tray when they put it in the freezer. So Tooch yelled at his son in the background because he didn't have any ice. So I'm going to have to pull that drop for next week because I have that audio laying around somewhere.
Who puts an empty ice cube tray in the freezer? It just takes up space. Come on, fill it up. Don't be lazy. Daddy's got to have his rocks.
Tooch is coming for you. Watch out for this. Locked and loaded.
Oh, my goodness. Listen, man, we are going to be talking murder mystery tonight with our guest and our bartender. It's the Adam Sandler, Jennifer Aniston, and Joe. How popular was this show?
Oh, it was very popular. It was so popular that I have that snippet for the Joey Two Scoops news and 2 scoops or less.
Oh,
so
right.
I'm going to save that for that.
Stick around, listeners, and let's bring in our first guest. Oh, wait, did you want to order a drink, Joe?
Yeah, you know what? I might get a drink. Why not?
So, yeah.
Aaron, I'm going to let you pour for me. So what do you think I want? I'll let you go ahead and make it bartender's choice.
Bartender's choice. You're a fan of dark beer or the light beer?
I go with any kind of beer. It doesn't matter.
Any kind of beer? All right, well, we'll go with the there's a Guinness draft. Like I said the first time I was on, it's always a classic. It's always smooth. It got to be out of a can or a tap. It cannot be from a bottle.
All right, well, here's out of a can.
Yep, exactly.
Creamy.
Oh, I can taste it now. It tastes like America. Actually, it tastes like Ireland, but anyway.
It's like Dublin, St. James's Gate. Yeah, all right. Aaron, what are you drinking? It's drinks around the house. Aldo's paying.
Man, I think I'm going to go with the Certified Evil, kind of a local brewery here, Lucky Bucket, and somewhere here around Omaha, Nebraska. So that's what I'm going to go with.
There you go.
Ooh, nice.
Sounds good. Well, we got the drinks poured for our main guests, but let's go ahead and invite our special guest in the house.
Yes,
and
sir.
it's his favorite song of him and his daughters. So here it is.
Baby shark do 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 do, baby shark do 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 do, baby shark do 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 do, baby shark. Mommy shark do 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 do, mommy shark do 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 do, mommy shark do 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 do, mommy shark.
Daddy shark do 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 do, daddy shark do 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 do, daddy shark do 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 do, daddy shark.
That's right, everybody. Daddy Shark is in the house. We got John Kessick joining us all the way from Michigan, Niles, Michigan. John, how's it going, brother?
It's going great, guys. How you guys doing?
Bears Barroom.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
And can we get you something to drink?
Yeah, I got to go with my favorite Bell's Two Hearted, fellas.
Ooh,
That's
there
a
you go.
Michigan beer.
That's right.
Very nice.
Keep it in state. Keep it in the mitten.
Tastes like
Did
America.
you guys see the Texas Rangers? One of their players came out for his first at bat to that song.
I did see that.
Elvis Andrews or something, I think his name is, came out to Baby Shark, walked up to the. It was like about a month or so ago. It came
We're
out
gonna
and
have
played it.
to play some music to get that earworm out.
Right,
Our
yeah.
listeners here later, Joe.
We'll just do this to get it out of our ears.
Boom.
All right. Well, let's do some little what you watching and how's it going for you. And we'll start with our guest, Mr. John Kessick. What are you watching and how's it going for you?
Currently, I'm watching, I don't know if you guys heard of Yellowstone. It's a show on Paramount TV.
Kevin Costner. Is it Kevin?
Costner.
Kevin Costner.
Yes.
Excellent.
It is outstanding. I would say it's probably a mix between White Fang and probably Tombstone, some Indians and Cowboys and Indians show with a little bit of House of Cards, a little bit of, a lot of background of, sketchiness going on. It's pretty good.
Where can our listeners find Yellowstone?
It's on Paramount TV. I watch it through my streaming broadcast of Sling TV.
Paramount TV. I got to be honest with you, I haven't heard of that station, Joe.
Yeah, it's a new channel, I think, right, John?
Yeah, it is. It's they got some good stuff on there.
All right.
So you heard it here. You heard it here, listeners. Tune into Yellowstone, which is on my list.
Yeah, I'm seen it. I didn't know where it was, but I was curious to see what Crash Davis was up to in that movie.
It's good stuff.
Right. Aaron, what are you watching now? How's it going for you?
Not too. It's actually been watching. My girlfriend and I have been watching Outlander, which is about a historian and his wife who go to Scotland to look up his family's history, but then she goes to these ruins called, I think, Craignadoon, and she touches it after some kind of looks like a ritual, and she gets transported 200 years in the past into Scotland.
Right, I heard of that.
Yeah,
Nice.
so we've been watching that. But then the other thing that I just got done watching myself was a show on Netflix called Black Spot. It's a French show about this small town in France where there's a crime family involved. There's also a mysterious wild man in the woods, and it got crazy at the end of the first season. It really keeps you interested in the characters and stuff. And there's one of those where every episode seems like there's a different story, but it all kind of ties in with this crime family. But then there's also this dude in the woods that nobody knows about that's been kidnapping people. So it's really good if you don't mind. And a lot of people don't like subtitles. I don't mind it because I'm finding, especially more recently, I kind of like the spooky supernatural stuff, and it seems like over in Europe they do it better than we do. So that's what I'm watching.
Is there a dubbed version available? That's Netflix too, right?
Netflix, yeah. I don't know if it was dubbed or not. I just went with the subtitles. It could very well be. I'm not entirely sure, but I just know I watched with the subtitles.
Right now, I have listened. I forgot there was The Dark. Is it just called Dark on Netflix?
Yep,
Which
I
is
think
German.
Dark. That's on my list.
I listened to that with dubbed, and the voices are kind of funny.
Really?
Dubbed. They were good, but they're so when some of those dubbing voice actors are so dramatic.
Yeah.
But I kind of enjoy that sometimes. It adds a little bonus to it.
Comedic effect for it. Agreed.
Black Spot Netflix. Okay, Joe, what are you watching now besides Euphoria and Big Little Lies? Right. What else?
The other thing I'm watching right now is I'm on a binge fest of Shark Tank. My fiance and I have been watching Shark Tank like it's going out of style, man. We're watching it on Hulu. Talk about a show, man. It's just addicting. You know, for those of you who don't know the premise, there's a bunch of big, famous business people, including Mark Cuban and other names that I can't think of off the top of my head. And these people come in and pitch ideas for these cool new products or services, and they try to strike a deal with these bosses. And man, it's really good stuff. I can't stop watching it.
Right now, for me, of course, I've been watching Euphoria, and also I watched the first episode of Black Mirror season 5. Has anybody started Black Mirror?
Yeah, that's about the best part of the whole season. And there's only 3 episodes in the new season, which was kind of disappointing. But
so the first episode, Falcon visits Mortal Kombat Brokeback Mountain.
Yep. Yep. We definitely talked about that. It really took an interesting twist, and I didn't see that coming.
I gotta tell you, man, I was like, who thought this up?
But Black Mirror does that to you though too, where it's like you didn't see it coming. That really took you for a loop.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't one of the better ones for me, but Joe, how about a little second chance series? Should we find out what Mr. Kessick gave up on and came back to?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Right.
Let's do that.
Don't give up on me so fast. See it's me. Let's run and run. Give me another chance.
Oh, I love me some Big Star, Joe. The Sweet Harmonies. All right, Mr. Kessick, tell us, a show that you gave up on, but you came back to later on, and you were glad you did.
There's a show on Netflix right now called What If. It's got I'm drawing a blank on her name right now. She played in Jerry Maguire. She plays this rich evil lady.
Is it Renee Zellweger?
Yeah,
Zellweger.
Yep. Thank you. Yep.
She after all those face transplants, whatever the hell she had, she looks like a different person. Anyway, but she plays.
She really does. She looks totally different now, man. I have a hard time recognizing her. I saw her in something too. I don't know what it was, but I was like, "That's Renee Zellweger." Oh my goodness.
Exactly.
Yeah, she was so cute, and
yeah, exactly.
She was so cute in Jerry Maguire, man. You just fall in love with her now. Yeah, she looks totally different now. But
yeah, she looks like the character that she played in this show. She plays something pretty evil to a starter company. This girl wants to start up this company, and she gives them the money, but she asks for one thing, and that's her husband for one night. And if she's willing to do that, she'd give her, I think it was $30 million to start her company. Wow. And yeah, so it got pretty deep, and after that, it just kind of went downhill. So then I came back to it, and I'm still struggling through it, but it's going pretty good.
All right. Anybody else got a second chance series? Joe, Aaron?
No, I don't think so.
Good. All right.
I started watching. This is a while back, but the first season of the new Chilling Adventures of Sabrina on Netflix.
Yes.
Oh, sure.
I started watching that with my fiance, and the first episode didn't hook me right away, but I left for a couple days and came back and picked it back up, and that show is just absolutely fantastic. So if you haven't watched it, give it a chance, because the Sabrina show is excellent.
It is not the Melissa Joan Hart version. It's really, they took a real dark turn with it, like literally Satan worship in this version of it. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I had someone at work recommend that to me today, so I that makes like 3 of you guys now. But that's on Netflix, right, Joe?
Yes, sir.
Netflix. Original, I think.
Right, and it stars who's in it again? The gal
Kiernan Shipka is the star.
Shipka.
She was the daughter of Don Draper in Mad Men.
She was also in, oh my gosh, there's another Netflix movie where there was like these birds came out of a cave and she was the daughter in that movie too. What the heck was the movie? It just came out earlier this year. It was like, I think it was called like The Quiet or something like that. I'm going to have to look it up and come back with it, but I can't remember what it was. But I guess, well, I got it.
Bugging you all night now.
Yep, I'm going to look it up right here.
I'm looking it up if you want to stall.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, you know what? I do actually have something I came back to. It's not terribly recently. Altered Carbon on Netflix.
Oh, that was good.
I gave it a shot, and for whatever reason, that first episode or two, whatever I was watching the morning before work, didn't really hook me too bad. But I was like, and I heard people at work talking about it, so I came back and gave it another shot, and I got super into it. And I can't wait. I wonder when season 2's coming out.
Based on the Richard K. Morgan novel, which is sitting on the shelf behind me.
Excellent. And they said for season 2, they're actually going to have, and I can't think of his name, so we're going to refer to him as Falcon, as we did earlier. He's actually going to be Kovac in the next season.
Anthony Mackie.
Yeah, that's it. Yep, and he's gonna be the new main character. It's the same dude, obviously different body. It's gonna be a new sleep for him, but he's playing that guy.
Right, and the first episode it was Joel Kinnaman.
And Aaron, the movie you're talking about is called The Silence.
The Silence. I said The Quiet. I was close. I knew it was something
close.
Like that. Yeah, that makes sense. That was. I enjoyed the heck out of that movie too. It's another one. Did you guys see? It's gonna bother me. Another one. John Krasinski movie.
That was great.
A Quiet Place.
Yeah, Quiet Place. Yep, that
fantastic.
One.
You can hear Box Office Barflies review that one.
Yep, absolutely. No, that was another
archives.
one.
Go back into the archives.
Kind of the same thing, where it's like you got to be super quiet or you get attacked by these kinds of things, but not quite as intense as A Quiet Place.
And where was The Silence on?
That's a Netflix movie, I believe. Netflix original.
Yes,
Netflix also.
If you bet.
Right. I know Netflix needs to put a stop to Good Omens, as the Christians are angry about.
Yes.
Is that Netflix or is that Amazon Prime?
It is Amazon Prime.
It's Amazon, but the Christians
protested Netflix.
Christians put out a petition to have it removed from Netflix.
Right. I gotta say, I just finished it. It was so good, man. It was so good.
Is that one you guys are going to review? Because I'm not. I know kind of a bit. I've never actually watched it though.
I would love to. It's based on the Neil Gaiman, Terry Pratchett novel. It's the book come to life. It's great. It's about an angel and a demon who are sent down to Earth, and they observe human history throughout time, from the Garden of Eden all the way to present day, with the advent of the Antichrist. There's one great scene with they're watching Noah putting his animals on the ark, and the demon, who's called Crowley, he's like,
really?
Hey, those unicorns are getting away.
Look out!
There's all sorts of little great jokes like that throughout the. It's like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy or Monty Python type humor. It's so good. It's only 6 episodes on Amazon Prime. It's called Good Omens, and if we get time, we'll talk about that one if you guys watch it. But
I might have to. Yeah, anything with angels and demons and that kind of stuff. Looks like it's got a good cast.
Very funny. Michael Sheen is so funny, and so is David Tennant. They're so funny in it, man. Michael Sheen is the angel. David Tennant is the demon. And Heaven and Hell both are full of civil servants and bureaucrats. So
it sounds a lot like Supernatural too.
It's very funny. And Joe, I think it's time some of us unburden ourselves with a little TV confessional.
Indeed.
Confess! 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 I confess! Not you!
I confess!
Who was that? Well, I didn't expect a kind of Spanish Inquisition. Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Shame.
What great shame we all have. And this is the part of the show, Tooch, where we talk about our TV confessionals for either a guilty pleasure show that you're kind of shameful that you watch, or a show that you're shameful that you have not watched.
Yeah, well, I could start, Joe, and I'm going to say I've never watched Mad Men, and I work in advertising. There's just something wrong. Like Sopranos.
Man.
I'm Italian American. I've never watched Sopranos. But hey, how about our honored guest, John Kessick? Anything to confess on I Have a Stream?
I don't know if it's bad or not, but Orange is the New Black. watched it, and
yeah,
you know, it's not bad. It's not a bad show, actually.
Shame on you for that one. Absolutely.
Apologize, but I don't want to apologize.
No, hey, that's your thing, man. Good stuff as long as you're enjoying it.
Well, that's a very popular show. And you could find Orange is the New Black on Netflix, I think, right, Joe?
That is correct.
Right, all right. How about Aaron? Anything to confess this week on I Have a Stream?
We're going to get heavy on you here. I'm going to have to turn in my man card. I've never actually seen a single Rocky or Rambo.
Ooh.
What the hell is wrong with you?
No, this is a safe place, gentlemen, okay? I thought we were
It is. It's very
kind of
safe.
attacked. I don't know. It's not something I'm not. Oh my god, they're coming out with a new Rambo. Don't know if you guys saw the trailer for that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I've never seen a single one of any of those.
I'm sure that'll have some great lines in it, delivered Sylvester Stallone style. And Joe, anything you want to confess this week?
I do, but I can't think of the name of the damn show I was watching. I was watching E! The other day, and it was on in the background, and I can't think of the name of the show. It follows this billionaire family and how they just spend money ridiculously. It's not about the Kardashians. Man, I'm drawing a complete blank on the name of the show. I'm looking it up as we speak, and I still can't figure out what it's called.
He's going to have to confess twice next week.
I can stall. I got another one for you. This one's not quite so bad. I've never seen a single Fast and the Furious movie.
Oh my god, it's so good.
You're not missing much with that one.
That's what I've heard.
The stunts are amazing, dude.
Are they? Yeah, I can see that too. Not a Fast and the Furious.
The cars are amazing too. The babes, the fight scenes. Man, almost everything you want.
Yeah, I guess, man. It's not my. I don't know. It's just not my thing. One of those things. And I'm sure the next time you guys have me on, I'll have to think of all the other things I should have seen and have not. Because
I'm sure you've seen. I'm sure you've seen Riddick.
Oh yeah,
Chronicles, Riddick.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah. It's got that supernatural space. Anything
there you go. Vin Diesel.
I'm all over that.
Yeah,
absolutely. Pitch Black.
I got another show as well, guys. Good Girls. You guys seen that one on Netflix?
Nope.
Oh, I have not seen it, but it's the one where like the people they basically like become bank robbers or something.
Well, there's 3 women who are moms and their housewives are working class, and they come into struggles financially, and they rob a grocery store. But come to find out, a part of the cartel's money was in that grocery store. So they end up working for the cartel for like, I don't know, remainder of the series, and it is actually pretty funny, pretty serious. It's pretty good show. But it's about 3 women, so call me weak if you want, but that's
good,
where it's at. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, man.
Joe, did you find it? Not yet.
No.
We'll come back to you next week on that one.
Yeah, I'll have to find it. I lost it. So.
Yeah. What about talking some murder mystery?
We could do that. What about before that? If we go into the news.
You want to do the news first? I was going to do the news after this, but yeah.
You know what? Let's break it up with the news. We'll break it up with the news. So we'll go into murder mystery.
All right.
So here is the trailer broken down for Murder Mystery on Netflix, starring Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston.
I don't want to give it away. It was the butler. The butler did it.
Just leave my books alone, okay? Just let me read.
Timber.
What brings you across the pond?
It's my honeymoon.
Where's your husband?
Dead. Asleep. He's dead, asleep. Sir, if you don't return to your seat, I'm gonna have to call the
cops.
Hey! Hi, honey! We've actually been married for 15 years, but we just have been very, 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 very busy. It's watching.
Yeah. You're doing it extra hard tonight.
Charles is inviting us to spend the weekend with him on a yacht.
Crashing the party with civilians.
You're an actress, right?
Grace Ballard.
I am Nick Spitz. This is my wife, Allison. I can't believe...
Audrey. I'm Audrey.
I said Audrey!
Did you ever fool around on a boat? I just lay here and the boat does all the work.
There's been a murder!
Should we pull it out? No, it's a foot long now.
Will you listen
happened to my husband? He's a detective.
I'll put it back. Don't put it back.
And that was the trailer for Murder Mystery on Netflix. Gentlemen, what did you think of the film, Tooch?
Well, I mean, it was okay. I mean, I wasn't bored. It just, it was, it was a popcorn flick. It was a subdued Adam Sandler, I think. A lot of husband-wife jokes. They were good together. What I loved about the movie was, man, it was some great locations.
Yeah.
You had Marrakesh, Morocco, and Santa Margherita, Italy, and oh my goodness, so beautiful. And the mystery, it was okay.
It was okay.
Yeah, it was okay. It kind of got me wondering if Adam Sandler lost a little magic. I mean, that was how I felt. But Jennifer Aniston, who's 50 years old, looks amazingly hot still.
Man,
so that was a bonus. A bonus.
I think every scene she was showing her legs, wasn't she?
Yeah, I mean, she looks fantastic.
Oh, man.
And then Adam Sandler, he wasn't as funny as he normally is. I mean, he wasn't Bobby Boucher, of course, but he was good. They had a pretty good cast too, Joe. I mean, Terrence Stamp, but he was only in it a little bit. He's a great actor. Luke Evans, who always plays a bad guy. He's the red herring, and I think maybe we should ask our guest, Joe, what they thought maybe. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and toss it to John Kessick. John, what were your thoughts on the Murder Mystery?
Murder Mystery was, I give it probably a C+, if we were going to grade it. I think Adam Sandler could have been funny. I agree with Tooch. He played too serious of a role for me in this one. Jennifer Aniston, I thought she was really funny. I think in most of her roles recently, she's been playing the comedic role really well. But the storyline was a little, hard to get into a little bit. But for the scenes that were, going through, it was okay. Like I said, a C+ average.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think that's a good, fair grade, Joe.
How about you, Aaron? What'd you think?
Kind of around the same lines. I'd give it a C, maybe a B. I enjoyed it. I actually think Adam Sandler did pretty well. You never really know what to expect with him. I think like the chemistry between him and Jennifer Aniston worked really well. It's always great when actors that are kind of classic actors, at least for our generation, get together and you just know that they're going to work well together. The only thing I guess that kind of takes it away from me is it's a premise that's been done 1,000 times. So it's your classic whodunit, and it's just it's not who you expect it to be. And then they say, oh, it is who you expect it to be, but then it's not who you thought it was going to be. Then there's some kind of a awesome, was it Lamborghini truck car chase or something?
Ferrari.
The
Ferrari, that was good.
Yep, I'm not a car person, but I was like, oh, that is a sexy looking vehicle. I enjoyed it though. I mean, any kind of humor you can throw into that. I can't think of many people. I could probably think of a few better than Adam Sandler, but I think he played the part really well.
Yeah, for his character, I agree. For his character, he did a pretty decent job, but it's just not an Adam Sandler character.
It's tough to detach yourself from your expectations when you're watching a movie. If you see like, well, that person is usually this guy, then it's not. It's like when Will Ferrell did Stranger Than Fiction. I thought that was a kick-ass movie, but it wouldn't, the grown man-child that he usually is that makes everybody laugh. So it's really hard to not have expectations for those actors that we've known forever and ever. So when they step out of that role, it's tough not to see them as, Happy Gilmore or the Waterboy kind of a deal.
That's a great point.
I agree. I did the same thing with Mark Wahlberg when he did Good Guys. I couldn't stand him in that character because you just knew him as the shooter, or whatever he played, and that was super badass. And it was hard for me to get in that character as well.
Yeah, Joe, what do you think?
I actually really enjoyed my time with it, man. I thought it was exactly what I wanted. And, Yeah, was it the greatest movie in the world? No, but I knew it was an Adam Sandler movie. I knew it was going to be, funny / stupid, and it's exactly what I wanted it to be. It had the murder mystery aspect, which it stumped me. I actually did not see the ending coming, and it had a great cast. I mean, I just want to touch on some performances that I think stood out to me. So obviously, you mentioned Luke Evans as Charles Cavendish, which might be my favorite character name ever.
Yeah.
And then Gemma Arterton played Grace Ballard, who was a great character as well. And then, of course, who played the Maharaja, Adil Akhtar, stole the show with that character. So across the board, it was it was a good movie. I mean, I had a good time with it. I'll give it a B-. I mean, it's a Netflix movie. You can watch it home, laugh at it. Adam Sandler's proving his worth to Netflix because people are watching, and we'll touch on that during our news section, but I thought it was great.
The movie proving to be very popular. Adam Sandler, if you are not an Adam Sandler fan, this is just going to be more fuel for the fire because
totally agree.
But if you are an Adam Sandler fan, I was a big Saturday Night fan in the 80s, late 80s, when he was early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, when Adam Sandler was on SNL with all those great other cast members, Dana Carvey, Phil Hartman, Rob Schneider, and the rest of them. Boy, those were the good old days. Adam Sandler, Mike Myers, they were really, lit up the movies. And
God, Mike Myers, I haven't heard much from him for a while.
Right.
He was in Bohemian Rhapsody. That's the last
he
I saw
was
of him.
excellent performance in Bohemian Rhapsody. He was also in Inglourious Bastards, uncredited role, if you like, Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, he was?
Yeah, he was a general, the British general that gives them.
Did not remember that. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, right.
But with Murder Mystery, Adam Sandler, he wasn't playing a funny role. He was playing, he was playing a husband who has a little bit of marital rough waters, right? Mm-hmm. And that was the whole thing. He is an Amazon gift card given kind of guy, and he finally decides that he's got to do it and take his wife to Europe because that's where she's always wanted to go, and even though they don't have the money for it, and that kind of that was the kind of role, and that part of the movie I kind of liked, where he would he was doing whatever he could to make his wife happy. So, but like Aaron said, the mystery was just kind of average, and I'm not sure how many more films Adam Sandler has left on his deal with Netflix, but I don't know. Did you see there was the Ridiculous Six, I think?
I enjoyed that,
was
man.
Really funny.
Yeah,
I ass off because it was so over the top. But
I don't think I've seen that one.
No, I didn't see it either.
Right, it's kind of a crazy Western comedy.
It's it's basically a parody of
the Hateful Eight,
the Magnificent Seven.
Yeah, kind of like that in there. Yeah, and I forget the Doogie Howser is in it. he kind of steals the show a little bit, right, Joe?
Neil Patrick Harris.
Neil Patrick Harris.
There's a great cast in that movie. I can't even.
Huh.
Yeah,
wasn't there another one?
Rob Schneider is in it, I think, too.
Wasn't there another one with him and David Spade?
Yeah, there's a few of them.
Yeah, that was a good
the Ridiculous Six cast I have right in front of me.
Right. Which is also Netflix, I think.
Yeah, so it's a great cast. So the Ridiculous Six has Adam Sandler, Taylor Lautner, Rob Schneider, Terry Crews, Luke Wilson, Nick Nolte, Steve Buscemi, Vanilla Ice, Danny Trejo, Will Forte, Blake Shelton,
oh my God,
David Spade, John Lovitz, Steve Zahn. It goes on and on.
Yeah, Harvey Keitel is in it as a Civil War general.
Yeah.
And Neil Patrick Harris, right?
I just closed it out. Maybe if you want to find out, people go and watch it.
Yeah. You got me with Nick Nolte on that one.
There you go.
All right, so murder mystery. If you're sitting around with the wife, I say make some popcorn and grab a beer, sit down and turn on murder mystery.
Yeah.
If you're a single guy or a high schooler, put on Euphoria.
Right.
What a great segue.
But first, let's do the news in 2 scoops or less, though, Joe, right?
Let's do it, man. I'm all over it. So here we go.
What? You look like Mary Poppins. Is he cool? Hell yeah, he's cool. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all! Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is that why you are here?
It's entertainment news in 2 scoops or less.
Holy smokes!
That's right, Barflies. This is the part of the show where I do the news in 2 scoops or less. So let's just go right into it, shall we? Netflix has announced today the voice cast of Jim Henson's The Dark Crystal prequel series. Taron Egerton, Anya Taylor-Joy, Nathalie Emanuel, Lena Headey, Helena Bonham Carter, Natalie Dormer, Eddie Izzard, Theo James, Toby Jones, Benedict Wong, Alicia Vikander, Aquafina, Jason Isaacs, Keegan-Michael Key, Simon Pegg, Andy Samberg, and Mark Hamill highlight a star-studded cast. Wow. The Dark Crystal Age of Resistance premieres on Netflix August 30th, guys. How about that?
Exciting.
Wow, that cast is dynamite.
Anytime
and that's not even everyone.
Voiceovers are going to be great.
Yeah.
Yes, so that's going to be good. Going on to the next part here. Tonight's topic movie, which we just spoke about, Murder Mystery, had over 30 million viewers in its opening weekend. That's over 3 days.
Holy smokes.
That is a Netflix record, folks. Talk about insanity. Netflix is getting its money's worth out of Adam Sandler. Okay. Holy smokes!
Right?
Yeah, we said it was very popular, and it was, man. A lot of people tuned in, not sure whether they liked it or not, but you know, they watched it. Yeah, exactly. Adam Sandler's still bringing him to the small screen now. Not sure when he's been on the big screen since his last appearance on the big screen, but yeah, lots of good stuff coming down the pipe, Joe.
Lots of good stuff, and I got a couple more things in the news. Got 2 more. So coming up next, production has begun on the Game of Thrones prequel series. Over the weekend, filming began in Northern Ireland. The series is set to star Naomi Watts and Miranda Richardson. Rumors are starting to surface that the show may be titled The Long Night. We'll have more details as they become available.
Oh, Miranda Richardson. Hold on, Joe. Miranda Richardson, very funny in Good Omens. Just wanted to throw that in there.
Hey, to make sure you watch Good Omens. We'll talk about it soon. And to finish things off, HBO has announced that the Oakland Raiders will star in this year's edition of Hard Knocks. Well, hey, at least they have Khalil Mack there. Wait, never mind. And that, my friends, is the news in 2 scoops or less.
Man, great job. That last
well, you know, it's hard to find good pass rushers in this league, according to John Gruden. So,
right. They can find them anywhere, I guess he said, right?
Well,
they have Antonio Brown, right?
Let's just hope Khalil Mack keeps running over those Detroit Lions linemen. That's all I want to say.
He's got an off season this time with him. It's gonna be phenomenal. He's gonna play some crazy numbers. That was him hitting Aaron Rodgers.
O-line, yeah, with his butt. Right. All right. So Joe, Euphoria on HBO. Now we're behind a week. We're gonna have to recap the first 2 episodes, but man, this is a show that will really get you thinking. And
sure is. And
I love the way. Yeah. I'm sorry, Joe. Go ahead. Go ahead. Let's give the audience a little taste.
All right.
Yeah.
At some point, you make a choice about who you are and what you want.
Hey, I'm Rue. I'm an addict. You're about to start a brand new chapter.
Some new girl in town that I think you're gonna be friends with.
I'm Rue. I'm Jules.
Suddenly, the whole world goes dark, and nothing else matters but the person standing in front of you.
And that is a little bit of a taste of Euphoria on HBO. Guys, this is a very controversial show because it's a very graphic portrayal of the modern day teenage life, dealing with drugs, sex, and alcohol. Aaron, I'm just going to toss it to you first, man. What is your initial reaction to a show like this?
You know, coming into it, I was pretty nervous because I heard it was controversial, and I tend to stay away from stuff that I think is going to kind of stress me out. But for whatever reason, the characters in this show have really taken away from that stress factor for me. I think the characters that they're building and how they're building them really is
some great characters, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you're following Rue, and then it seems like, at least in the second episode, you kind of started off with what the hell are they doing? Who are they talking about? And you see who they're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
They're doing a great job kind of intertwining all these characters, even within the first 2 episodes, about how they're all going to kind of interact with each other. The stories are going to work out.
Right. Now, there's a few things about it. I'm not sure which one of you guys said this before the show, but it could be, exaggerated high school. It's kind of like Fast Times at Breaking Bad High. I kind of like it, man. I tell you, I don't know about Joe, but after I watch an episode of Euphoria, I feel like I have to take a shower.
Oh yeah,
are you guys about the same?
Yeah,
I feel dirty.
It's just grungy and dirty. No, especially after
I feel very dirty. I mean, some of the high school girls, I gotta say, are very attractive. I'm sorry to say, but
you know what? So there's no way that they're less.
They're not that. Yeah,
so that's what you got to think.
Yeah, they have to be. They have to be over 18, guys.
Yeah,
so exactly.
God, look at those. Oh, so wait, she's a little bit. Well, she's not so young, so it's not quite so bad.
Especially Cassie. Oh my goodness.
That
girl is a very beautiful girl. I want to say her name is Sydney Sweeney, Joe, and I think we'll be hearing from her.
That is correct. She is trending all over the place.
My goodness, what a babe.
The thing too that I like about this is you don't know, at least I've never seen, other than who plays Rue, they're kind of unknown actors, at least to me. And when shows do that, they kind of take these people I've never seen before and develop them so well into characters. That's what I really enjoy seeing. That.
We'll go through the characters because I think that'll help listeners understand the show a little bit better before because when we do that, we can talk about the first 2 episodes. One, I was going to say, Joe, I love the way the first episode starts because the kids were young. They were 10? No. When it started, they were watching the 911 towers come down.
Yeah.
Remember if you remember that. So 2001. Okay. Mm-hmm. Were they born? They were born in 2001.
So that's the day that Rue was born.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So she's born when the towers come down.
9/11. Yep.
Right. So
it's worth saying that very important. It's worth saying too that Rue is portrayed by Zendaya.
I couldn't remember her name. Yep.
Who is absolutely fantastic in the show.
She is excellent, man. Really good.
Spider-Man.
And she was MJ.
Yep,
in
exactly.
Homecoming, Spider-Man Homecoming, and I think is she in Far From Home, Joe?
Yeah, yep.
Well, she'll be in Far From Home, which I think starts
July 2nd
next week.
Starts on Tuesday. It comes out on a Tuesday, so
right.
I'm sure Box Office Barflies. If you follow Box Office Barflies on Twitter, they'll be reviewing Spider-Man Far From Home, right, Joe?
Oh yeah. No doubt. I'm seeing it on the 4th of July.
The 2 guys that do Box Office Barflies are probably really looking forward to that one, Joe. But
they're a bunch of sexy-looking guys. I tell you that.
So Rue is the main character, and I love that Rue was, her. Now in the trailer, she says, "Soon you make a choice about who you are and what you're gonna." I forget what she said, but in the first episode, she says, "Soon you make a choice about what you are and what you're going to do with your life." It wasn't exactly how she said it in the trailer. It's a little different, and that's really the struggle for all of these kids. They are really struggling. Man, I got to tell you that the drugs are a major part of this show.
Oh yeah.
And in the second episode, the drugs are scary. The drugs are almost like the villain in the second episode. We'll talk about the second episode. Let's get through the first episode where we meet everybody. And we talked about Rue. We talked a little bit about Cassie. Cassie and Lexi are sisters, right, Joe?
Cassie and Lexi.
And Lexi. They have a mom who's a wino that sits around and talks to all
Yes,
the
they
boys.
are.
Yeah, she's kind of the sultry cougar of the show. It seems like she's always kind of, oh, look at you, kind of a deal.
Hot. I think I might.
Oh, I'm not saying that's not the case. No, absolutely. I definitely agree there.
Right, and Lexi, of course, is played by Judd Apatow's daughter.
Yeah.
Maud Apatow. And she's really good too, and she's kind of not one of the main characters, kind of a little bit on the outside. The two main characters, I would say, actually, three main characters are Rue, Jules, who is a transsexual or transitioning.
Transgender, yeah.
Thank you for pointing that out, because I've when she's laying in the bed in underwear, I'm like, there's something down there. There was a bugging the hell out of me.
Yeah. I told my wife, I was like, it's a guy because there's the bulge. I told her. She was like, she didn't notice it. I noticed it.
So
she wasn't looking there. She probably wasn't looking there.
No, but I was like, well, those are there's something going on there. I kind of agree.
And I love this character of Jules. We'll talk about he, she in a minute. And then I would say Nate is probably one of the main characters. And boy, he's a little, he's on the knife's edge, but not a character you can like. You can't really like this guy too much. In the first episode, we kind of meet Nate and we meet Jules, and Nate is very threatening to Jules the first time. I remember that was a scary scene, man, where he didn't know Jules. Jules is new in town, and Rue is kind of fascinated with Jules, the way she dresses. Jules rides her bike. She looks like Sailor Moon, they said, right, Joe?
Yeah, Sailor Moon meets Harley Quinn.
Right, exactly. And Jules is a cool character, man. I'm starting to enjoy this character. Now, here's the main thing. This is something I had to ask my son. I've got a 20-year-old boy, and I wanted to find out, man, this can't really be what high school's like. It can't be this way.
That's terrifying.
Nude Snapchats and Instagram pictures of your classmate are currency. They even said that in the first episode. If you possess nudes of your classmates, you have some currency. Now, some of them have private Instagram channels that they charge a monthly subscription fee, and they're making money. They're selling. They're some of them are prostituting themselves, including Jules and not Cassie. Cassie, of course, is selling her nudes on Instagram, but. It's a scary high school to grow up. I don't know. Does anybody have high school age kids of you three?
No way. No. I'm only 30, so no, sir.
John,
I'm 30.
No, you have young kids, right, John?
Yeah, we got babies.
Okay. Now we talked about this before show. We think that the show never tells us, but we think it's California. Now, there's a couple of characters. Aaron, you were talking about how they introduced new actors, and one of the characters this is his first thing he's ever been, and I'm talking about the character of Fezco. This character is cool, man. What do you guys think of Fezco? What do you think, John?
Yeah, he's laid back, ain't he?
Yeah, he's really cool. He's got some good lines. It seems like he's got a good heart too.
Yeah, he really likes Rue. In one of the scenes, he called her his sister.
Right.
And
second episode.
I feel like that sticks true. I mean, you saw. I don't know if we can go much into the episode, but
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he had his hand on the trigger for that gun with that.
That was in
other
episode
drug
2.
dealer.
Right. We'll talk about episode 2 in a bit. Now, Joe, a lot of the struggle for Rue comes in her family life. Her dad died, I think, of cancer.
Yeah, died of cancer, yeah.
Right, and she seemed to be very attached to her father.
Well, that's where she got the taste of drugs for the first time, too, we find out.
Exactly. In episode 2, we find out where she was sampling the massive amounts of pills the guy had because he was going through a bunch of shit for chemotherapy and cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you couldn't tell if she was high or not.
She has a very love-hate, up-and-down relationship with her mom, who's raising 2 girls. Her sister, Gia, idolizes Rue. A big moment for Gia was when she found Rue basically overdosed and lying in her own vomit practically dead, which is where we end up basically in the first episode. And Rue's in rehab. That's how she spent her summer, and she has a hard time talking about it in the second episode. Joe, do you remember what happened to her in the second episode when the teacher asked her to share a little bit about her summer vacation?
Yeah, she's in some sort of class where the teacher's like, oh, someone come up on stage and talk about your summer, and she tried to hide herself. And of course, teachers always go for the person that doesn't want to be up there.
Yep.
So she goes up and basically has a panic attack on stage, can't think of what to say, and kind of storms off. She goes to do some drugs in the bathroom, and then her friend knocks on the door, and she flushes down the pills down the toilet.
Right, and that's her friend Lexi, who, of course, is played by Maud Apatow. Lexi and Rue were friends when they were little kids. You know, you see some flashbacks of them when they're little, maybe 6, 7 years old, preschool to early grade school. They were friends, and you all remember your friends. Some of them you don't have anymore that were that age. But then you get to high school and you kind of don't really hang out with them anymore, and that's kind of how Rue and Lexi are. Rue and Lexi. Rue asked Lexi to pee in a Tylenol bottle for her so she could pass a drug test. So Rue's a bit of a user, right, Aaron? What do you think?
No, I don't know if a bit of a user is quite covers what she is, but no, she's a full-blown addict, and that's one of the things they explained in the beginning of the episode, that she was diagnosed with a bunch of different things when she was pretty young. So she's had to balance some pills throughout her entire life, so I think she's looking for some kind of feeling that she's been chasing since she was a kid, and she keeps going through the drugs, and as I know we keep jumping ahead of the shark, but as we'll find out in episode 2 that she may have found what she's looking for, and it's really bad news.
Right, she's an addictive personality, ADHD, ADD. My son struggled with those when he was in grade school, and junior high school, and high school.
30 years old, my still ADHD. I've taken meds for, so I totally get that there.
Yeah. And of course, we're talking about Fezco, who is her drug dealer, but treats her like a sister. He's got a soft spot. He's really mellow. You don't see him get angry. The kid's a good actor. I'm not sure. I think his name is Angus Cloud. I think we'll be hearing from him in a little bit. He's very good.
So dope.
I love his
coolest name.
And I'm trying to figure out. I love his partner, Ashtray, who's about
he's the one
14 years old or 12 years old.
You want to talk about him? He's absolutely convincing. Like that kid makes me the low-key star of the show. Like 100%
is a great character, man. But when Rue also gets away with getting credit, at the drug dealer shop. She makes off with money. Sometimes Fez has to cover for her. I want to talk about Nate though, because Nate's the star of episode 2. He had an interesting childhood. Probably part of why he is the way he is his father, played by Eric Dane, Cal, who we see in episode 1 hooking up with Jules. Mm-hmm. And Jules is we're not sure, but is she getting money for sex with older men, or he getting sex?
Or is it just the what's the app? It just seems like
Tinder.
That's the one. That's
kind of like a Tinder hookup.
Yeah.
And, it was also, I don't know about you guys, but that first scene with Eric Dane and Jules in the first one.
Yes.
I mean that kind of had more of like a statutory rape kind of vibe.
Well, not only that, but they show an erect penis putting on a condom on HBO. Now, back when I was a kid, that would be an X rating for sure. So, just viewers beware.
Boy,
this
all of the penis.
The show, and of course, Nate's dad has a thing for boys. He records his
during
sexual
episode
encounters. 2. He records his sexual encounters.
Yeah.
They're color coded. They're on discs, and Nate finds them when he's about 12 years old. And breaks the code. He watches his dad's homemade porn, and man, that's got to be. I can't imagine what that kid was going through. And his dad kind of grooms him to become, a bodybuilder, weightlifter, athlete. He's the star quarterback on the high school team. He's got a bit of an anger management issue, Joe. What do you think of Nate?
dude, the kid's he can't cope with anything, right? And he's got no coping skills. He's got a massive jealousy problem.
Yeah.
You know, some guy hits on his girl, and well, we can touch on that when we get into episode 2. But
in episode 1, Tyler, who's a college-age student living on his own, Nate loves Maddie because she's basically hairless. They say he doesn't like body hair is one of his turn-offs.
Episode 2, all of us.
Maddie,
kind of a checklist.
Maddie's like a Hispanic girl who's one of the cheerleaders on the high school team, and Nate has a real thing for her. And when she hooks up with Tyler to make him jealous, he goes nuts. And episode 2, you know, man, that was a difficult scene to watch. What do you think, John? When tell the audience what Nate does to Tyler.
Well, he kind of stalks him for what, a couple of days to find out where he lives. Number 1, and then number 2, he breaks into his house. There's a apartment, and when Tyler gets there, Nate's sitting on the couch with a beer, all the kitchen knives, and a baseball bat. And tells him, or asks him, number 1, if he raped Maddie. And he said no. But then he didn't believe him, so he beat.
Yeah, he beat the piss out of him, man. I felt bad. That was a hard scene to watch. I'm glad they didn't show.
The crap out of him.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't show it because that would have been tougher to watch, Joe. I mean, I'm glad they just showed Nate. They showed Nate on behind the couch, and you know, all you see is him wailing on somebody. Which I was glad they did that because, I mean, Tyler was basically like, "Don't hurt me." You know, he felt really sorry for the kid. You know, it wasn't really his fault. I mean, Maddie kind of talked him into it, and they're in the pool, you know, and they're kind of hooking up on the side, you know, and Maddie doesn't belong to Nate, right? So, there was a weird scene at the end of after Tyler's beating where Tyler watches. Did Nate shower at Tyler's house?
Yeah, and
he did.
I think he showered
and took his clothes.
And took Tyler's clothes and put him on and walked out with his umbrella.
Man.
Well, let me ask.
Yeah, Joe.
Let me ask you this: Did he? You think he raped Tyler when he was there?
God, that's a great question, Joe. I don't know. I was thinking the same thing because, you know, watching all of his dad's tapes, I wonder if he did, man. I'm thinking he did. I don't know if we'll ever find out, but I would say, Joe. I would say he probably raped Tyler.
You know, if he did,
that's something
they're going to bring up again.
You think so?
I think so. I mean, that's something, if we're asking that question, we can't be the only ones wondering that. So it's he's going to have like a flashback or something in the next episode thinking about it.
So if listeners are listening, it's probably like, what the hell crazy show is this? God damn it.
It's crazy.
It's a crazy show. Like that,
is,
there's
man.
No way that we could talk about this in a PG setting. Like this is legitimately, it is
this
not for
should
children.
Be rated X.
No,
shouldn't be
for
seen by
sure.
Anybody under 18 should not watch this show.
Well, not just for the violence and nudity, but the content, the drug use. Just like, you know, it's a stressful show, man. It really is.
And that's a great segue because I can't think of a more stressful scene than when Rue goes over to Fez's house in the second episode, and Fez tells her to get lost. You know, hey, no shit, seriously, you got to get the F out of here because you don't want to be around here when my guy comes by. And man, that dude was scary, John. This is the scene you were talking about with Fez's drug dealer Mouse. Man, that guy scared me. He was just menacing, man. Tattoos on his face. He might have been MS-13, man. But I don't know, man. He was a scary dude. And tell the audience what he did to Rue.
He, number 1, pretty much made her take fentanyl.
Yes.
That was the scary thing.
Dude.
He pretty much, because... that
was a hard scene to watch.
Yeah, she didn't want to take it, but
no.
But she prayed to God. You know, she said, even though she's been a cunt to all of her friends and family, that she didn't want to die tonight. So she took the fentanyl and was in pretty much a coma for a couple of days.
Yeah. This was the best scene of the whole series so far, I think.
She took it off the blade of a knife.
Off the blade of his knife. One of those, it was like one of those little K-bar folding knives. And those things are super sharp. He made her lick a drop, one drop of fentanyl, which really gets you thinking. We have a fentanyl crisis in this country right now.
Amongst other things.
People are dying because of this drug. You saw one drop, and Fez had to call Jules to come and help him with Rue because he thought she was going to die. Now this scene, Ashtray standing in the door watching Mouse's sidekick, who's the Count Moneyman. Moneyman's got a gun poking out of his pocket. Mouse is packing. Fez is sitting on a couch with his hand in between the cushions on a gun. And Rue is sitting in the middle of all of it. And man, I was nervous as shit. I think I bit all my nails off. Joe, what'd you think of that scene in episode 2? This is the best scene of the whole series. This is why I said Fast Times at Breaking Bad high.
Yeah, man. It was a unbelievably tense scene. Incredibly well acted. And I gotta say, all the actors, Zendaya, the guy who plays the drug dealer, the villain Mouse, I mean, everyone in this scene just made it probably one of the most tense moments I can remember watching TV in probably the last 10 years. I mean, I was on the edge of my seat. I really thought somebody was going to get blasted.
I did too.
And it actually ended up being that only Rude got blasted with drugs, not with bullets. But, man, that was quite the scene, hard to watch, and this show I think is going to get better every single week.
Well, so far episode 2 was a step up, man. But like I said, it's hardcore. The people in this show are so fucked up. This is why I have to psychologically and mentally fucked up.
I mean, are we going to talk about what the payment was supposed to be for the fentanyl? At least what Mouse was kind of alluding to.
Right. He's like, that was a terrible thing because he says, you owe me $400 for the fentanyl hit. One drop, $400. And, what's his name? Fez says, he says, but I'm gonna charge you $600 or something like that, right? And Fez says, you're gonna do me like that, cuz,
Yeah, Mouse doubled it.
Mouse doubled, $300.
But he doubled it after because he was starting to stroke up and down Zendaya's, her thigh.
Right.
And he's like, there's something else we could work out, and that's when Fez is like, nah, here, I got the money, man, $300.
Yeah, exactly. He was pissed off that he couldn't take advantage of Rue while she was unconscious.
Yep, and that's when he's like, all right, $300. And he's like, I make it $600, and that was the end of that, fortunately.
Right, and this is, I want to ask you guys who the most normal character is in the show. We'll go around the circle because I'm not sure there is a normal person.
Who's the black wide receiver?
His name is Chris McKay.
I feel like he's normal.
McKay.
Okay, there you go. Well, yeah.
He also tries to kind of force himself on Cassie though in episode 1, But
just aggressive sex. I mean, it didn't seem like he was forcing himself. She was down. It just
he's got his vices as well. But he might be. Joe, who's the most normal character in this show?
Well, guys, we actually haven't even talked about her. Kate Hernandez is the character who's played by Barbie Ferreira. Who is a plus-size model in real life.
Yeah,
I
was going to get to her, too. But
I think she's probably the most normal character in the show because she's. I think all of us can kind of connect with her. She's, slightly overweight for her age, but she was a virgin when she went to this party. She's beautiful girl. But she goes to this party and she's a virgin and she talks to these guys. Yeah, that's another hard scene.
Another hard scene to watch.
And she just loses her virginity just because.
Yeah, but
then a video comes out and it comes out to the entire school, right, guys?
Losing her video gets distributed. Losing her virginity on video gets distributed to the whole school. How shitty is that? I feel she handles it great though.
Yeah,
when she went and basically laid it out on the principal, that was so dope. Yeah. She's like, so it's not, first of all, it's not me. And if it was, you've obviously seen it and you've seen child porn. So what are we going to say? Just kind of totally boxed him into a corner. I was like, get him, girl. Like,
she handles it great. She handles it great. She gets away with denying that it's her, of course, because her face is never shown. But I remember her reaction. She's sitting at dinner with her parents, and she sees the video, and she's like, "Fuck, fuck, 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 fuck."
Yeah,
fuck.
yeah.
She goes up to her room, and she starts texting or Snapchatting a bunch of people. Like, what the fuck is this?
Right.
But yeah, a cool character too. I'm sure we're gonna enjoy seeing the rest of her story.
Well, at the end of it, though, didn't she? She was about to make some money off of herself, wasn't she?
Right. Yep. Yes. She's thinking of putting, because she got a bunch of, when the video was posted on YouPorn or somewhere like that. I don't know where. Pornhub. It was on Pornhub, and the comments were like, "Oh, I love her. I would pay so much to see her again, or see her squirt. I'd pay to see her squirt."
Yeah.
I have a stream that's going porno right now, Joe.
Right. Yeah.
I have a sound effect for that.
Okay.
So,
there you go.
I mean, it's a rough show. It's an adult show. It actually makes you confront some hardcore vices in our society today. So
yeah, it's a tough one.
The things that people do behind closed doors are shown openly by I forget the director's name of this show. Joe, do you have that? The creator and director of the show is pushing the envelope harder than I've ever seen it push. His name is Sam Levinson, who's the writer, creator, and director of the show. And boy, I tell you, my pick for the most normal is probably Gia. I mean, she's in no trouble. She's a good little sister. Of course, we don't know so much. We haven't seen enough of her yet. She's the little sister of Rue. And Rue's mom is normal. She's just a single mom. She doesn't have any real vices that we know of yet.
Right.
Right. She gives Rue some tough love. They fight a lot. And Rue was about to stab her with a piece of glass from a picture that she shattered off the wall. So, you feel a little bit for Rue's mom, who's dealing with a troubled daughter who has a lot of problems, man. But if this is what high school is like, man, I went to my son after. I was like, is this really what high school was like for you? Because, man, I really understand you a lot more now, Joe. That's my. But yeah, I mean, I know my son said it was rough and stuff at high school. There was shit like that going on with pills, everybody, Xanax, OxyContin. Even the dealer comes by, right? Mouse comes by, Joe, and he's got I got 50 Xannies and a bunch of some shit.
Yeah.
Some designer hallucinogens. I think Rue took a designer hallucinogen in the first episode. I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
Didn't have any.
Messed up.
For me, for Aaron, for me, we used to get a keg of. We'd find someone to buy us a keg of beer. We would go down, sit on the river, and have a bonfire. Maybe pass a joint around. That was it.
That was the extent of it. Yep.
That was the extent of it.
Get much more interesting. What's this?
Right.
I don't know. I'm gonna take it.
Cocaine is only so you can get through your job if you're tired.
Right.
But, shit. I mean, you guys are a lot closer to me, to high school than me. I graduated high school in 1986. High school wasn't like that for you guys, right? Just go ahead, shout out if high school was anything like.
No, not like that at all.
Not even close.
Starter party, but nothing like that. Nothing hardcore.
Right.
So it wasn't like that, but Tooch, I want to touch on for a second about where we think the show might be going, right? So
great question.
So we talked a little bit earlier about Eric Dane's character, how he records his encounters, right? Great. So do you guys think he recorded the encounter with Jules, and will the son find it?
Yes.
Yeah, well, how about we talk about right now? Jules and Nate are talking. We find out that
at the
Nate,
end,
that's kind of how it ended.
At the end, Nate is Shy Guy 118, and I forget Jules' Snapchat name or Tinder name or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's how the episode 2 ends with a little burgeoning romance between Nate and Jules online anonymously.
Yeah. Nope, I agree. Did I go for the most normal person or not? I don't remember if I got to put one in there on that.
What happened?
Did I get to go for the most normal character or not? I don't remember if I got to put somebody in there or not. Okay.
We're waiting. Come on,
Gotcha.
dude.
No, how about, with me, I'm going to go with Cassie. She's not doing anything with drugs. She's, doing the new Snapchat thing. It ended with that in the second episode. It just seems like she's doing what she thinks, for me, she seems like the most normal one. There hasn't been anything, obviously, with the nude pictures at the end of the first one. There's going to be some probably in episode 3 with it, but so far it just seems like your normal teenage high school girl.
Let me ask you, do you think Cassie thinks that, nudes are normal these days?
I think she would. Obviously,
think so too.
He asked her for it, and she did. So that's the only thing, if it's the currency thing. So, if that's the worst that she's done, considering the rest of the characters in the show, then I think, to me, that she's the most normal character, at least for me.
What about John? Did we get your most normal character yet?
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but he was the football player that went to college.
Right, Chris McKay.
McKay, yep.
McKay, right.
He's a lover, I think, so...
Yeah, we'll see. And how about where do you think the show's going to go next, John?
It's hard to tell right now. I don't know. I really don't. I see. Is it Nate? Is he the quarterback?
Nate, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Yep. I can see him following his dad's footsteps a little bit here, but I really don't know. I really can't tell. I don't know.
His dad likes
from the first tip.
Gay sex with
little
transgenders, boys. Yeah, young men. A horrible guy.
Yeah.
Just
the way the first 2 episodes go, I have no freaking idea where they're gonna go with this.
Yeah, he has a very he's hands-on with his son, but there's no affection. Very little affection.
Sure. Yeah.
He's kind of a
helicopter parent.
It's like a business relationship.
Yeah.
With Nate between
it's an investment.
Cal and Nate. The dad's name is Cal, and he's more like an investment. Exactly. Nate is an investment. About Cal. This.
Yeah. Yeah. You could use that quote for just about anything in the show or any scene.
I got a bad feeling about this.
I didn't see any preview for next week, but I imagine that Nate and Jules are going to maybe find out they've been crushing on each other, and the first time they met, Jules pulled a knife on Nate and cut herself. So, and that was kind of when Rue and Rue and Jules, kind of struck up their friendship at that time as Rue bandages up Jules, and Jules played by Hunter Schafer. Boy, what a great job he does, man. Or she now. I'm not sure. I
don't know either, and I'm actually looking for on the IMDb for that.
I don't know how he.
Full disclaimer: we may not be entirely politically correct. It is a sensitive topic. But we're just trying to find out so that we can say the right thing about this individual. So
I would say he probably identifies as she.
Agreed.
Just gonna say it, but
I think that's fair.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, any last thoughts, Joe?
Man, I just gotta say, the show itself is just extremely well done. It's shot extremely beautiful. There's some really cool shots. That scene this week where Zendaya, Rue, and why am I drawing a blank on Jules, Rue and Jules when they're high. And she's got like this glitter all over her face.
Yeah, that was neat.
And it's like in slow motion. And then there's another beautiful scene where they're riding bikes through the woods.
Yeah.
I wonder if something serious happens with when they took the drugs, because that scene has been in both episodes so far. If you've noticed, the one where they got tears coming out of their eyes, that scene or a variation of that scene has happened in both episodes. So I'm wondering if that's leading up to something more serious that happens afterwards. Or
I was kind of thinking maybe. I was kind of thinking, in the back of my mind a little bit, maybe they hooked up.
That is my prediction for the future. I think.
And then maybe Rue's like pregnant from. That's a really weird guess.
Who knows, though? No, I mean, that's pretty far out there, but I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. I mean, I think, especially in that last scene where they're riding bikes and then Jules says, Rue, you turned your parents about me, and Rue gets embarrassed. I'm kind of thinking that I think there's something there between those two.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm kind of going to go that they're just friends, but really good. They're going to be great friends.
Mm-hmm.
They just have a thing where they click, but we'll see. We don't know what these writers have. They've been surprising us these first 2 episodes. I just want to say, we'll go around real quick before we end the show and just say, who's the target audience for this TV show? Let's start with John Kessick.
Oh boy.
I'm just saying, before we go any further, we're going to be recapping episode 3 next week with Dan Aguirre. Let us know who you think the target audience is for this show. Who should be watching it?
Jeez.
Fans of maybe Breaking Bad?
No, I think, like I told you earlier, I watched 13 Reasons Why.
Yeah.
And, I think people that enjoyed that show would definitely enjoy this show. It's got similar things going on. Plot's kind of the same. I just feel like this one's really overboard. 13 Reasons Why I feel like is a little more serious, a little more real. But yeah, this is for people that have seen that show. I would definitely tell them to watch this.
How about fans of penises?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I wondered when we were going to bring that up.
If you like skin
God.
they'll be out there.
Just a forest of fangs in that locker room scene.
Yeah, I guess we need to tell people, ladies especially, if you are going to watch, you may be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
There are HBO.
Yeah, thanks to Game of Thrones had all the movies.
Yeah.
And ladies, this show is for you. So
Yeah.
we'll just put that out there.
This show has the most wangs per minute, I would say, ratio.
Dilly.
HBO is the king of dongs, man. There's no heavyweight champion of dongs.
Yeah, undisputed champion.
There are breasts in it too, so
Yeah.
In
guys
the
get
first
to go as well.
episode,
Right.
but like not
Second
the
episode, all dong.
God,
Yeah.
all dog.
You gotta share it. You gotta share it, man.
Man.
Yeah, Aaron, target audience for Euphoria. Tell us who should be watching it. Fans of what show?
Hell, I don't know.
Fans of dongs.
Fans of dongs for that, especially season 2, folks. Episode 2. Check that out. This one's a tough one because there's so many different aspects to it. So you obviously don't want young people watching, at least probably not. So teenagers would be kind of that thing. But then you get obviously older people. But Breaking Bad, obviously you've got the drugs and the kind of thing. It doesn't have the danger and suspense aspect of Breaking Bad, at least.
Had a little danger in that last scene.
No,
though.
yeah,
Bez,
but
Ashtray and Mouse.
if Bez and Ash would have capped those two, then oh shit,
Holy
now we
shit.
got a murder we got to cover up, and that's
Yeah.
straight up Breaking Bad there. But it's just I'm trying to think of a show with just personal turmoil in it, and like just people trying to find out who they are. And I mean, honestly, to me, just maybe because I don't watch these shows normally, this is a one of a kind. Like I don't really know who to target it to because there's so many different aspects in it, and I can't really think of anything off the top of my head to compare it to that would do it justice.
Right, Joe, target audience for Euphoria?
Yeah, I think I figured out the equation here, all right? So the target audience for this show is people who like the show Barry, Game of Thrones, and Sopranos. It puts it all into one, and you're pretty much and when you're talking about that, you're talking about the age bracket that's probably people that are old enough to have their own kids that are just being born. I think they're targeting like new parents or middle-aged parents for the shock factor. I really think they are.
Nope, I agree. That's a pretty good assessment. I'd agree with you 100% on that.
Me too. With having two little girls, that scares the crap out of me.
Me too. I'm with you. All right. Well, I'd like to thank my guests tonight. We've reached the end of the show. Of course, Joe Mandel, my sidekick. Follow him at Joe Mandel. Joey Tooch.
Oh, yeah.
Aaron Michalski. Michalski88 on Twitter, at Michalski88. John Kessick, our guest tonight. Jay Kessick JKESSICKII on Twitter.
Follow them right now.
Follow I Have a Stream at I Have a Stream Pod on Twitter. And we'll be back next week talking Euphoria some more. And I hope some other surprises. We'll be back with Dan Aguirre and maybe some surprise guests, Joe. And how about you take us out? Oh, follow Bears Barroom at Bears Barroom. Bears Barroom Radio Network. You can listen on Mixer.com. And Joe, how about taking us out with a little television?
Sounds like a plan. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks, John. Thanks, Aaron. Very much appreciated.
Thanks for having me.
And we will see you guys next time.